Amy Rose, Sonic's girlfriend. History doesn't record if they've had sex or not, but we reckon they probably have. Look at her. Why? We prefer cream nowadays, it's an ear thing! She's 6 years old, you bloody nonce! What the fuck is this? It's a preview of Sonic Heroes from issue 2 of the British magazine Xbox World, that's what it is. Extracts of this article do the rounds online every so often, which leads to some mistaken information about its origins getting spread, such as this Reddit post, where the OP believed it was the UK version of the game's manual. But it also leads to folks stumbling across said extracts and either being understandably shocked or pissing themselves laughing at how much edgy shock humour is crammed into a single paragraph about a pink hedgehog. And that one is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more insane shit to unpack from this article, so today, I thought I'd take a look at all 5 pages of it, and give you chaps a brief overview of, without a doubt, the most unhinged Sonic magazine article ever written. First things first though, a little bit of context. The writer for this article was Gary Cutlack, who some of you might remember as the man behind UK Resistance, a now defunct satirical website where he and a few other writers would discuss all things Sega, share obscure bits of video game history, post pictures of crap Sonic merchandise from across the British Isles, upload the odd bit of highly risque content, which is putting it very mildly, and take the piss out of gaming journalists to name a few examples. Over the course of UKR's 15-year lifespan, Gary found work as a writer for several gaming publications like Sega Saturn Magazine, PlayStation World, and of course Xbox World, where he brought over his brand of sarcastic, over-the-top, and dark humour. When Sega sent over an early demo build of Sonic Heroes to the Xbox World offices in May of 2003, the editors would task Gary with playing through and reporting on it. And as you saw in the first 15 seconds of this video, the result was just as unfiltered as every other British gaming magazine in the early to mid-2000s. It starts off relatively tame though. Sonic gets hyped up for making his debut on Xbox, a few jabs are taken at other 3D platformers for the console, poorly aged things won't like the Blink slander, and Gary goes on a quick tangent about his hopes for a Sega Dreamcast 2 before covering Heroes' gameplay mechanics. All quite normal, really. And then you turn the page to this who's who of playable characters, their shameful origins exposed. Well, not in Sonic's case. He gets the glazing of a century. If there was a competition about who loved Sonic the most, we would win it. So don't bother entering if such a contest ever happens. Rather prophetically, that exact competition would happen over a decade later in 2016 to celebrate the franchise's 25th anniversary. And Gary did not win, nor enter as far as I can tell. Right, moving on. Tails' quote-unquote shameful origins are very much exposed, as his profile theorises that since he has 2 tails, he probably has 2 arseholes as well. We've never had access to Sonic Team's design documents to check for sure, and the group always ignores that question in interviews. However, he doesn't catch anywhere near as much flack as Amy or Big. You've already heard what was said about the former at the start of this video, but as the self-proclaimed #1 fan of Big the Cat, fuck anyone who says otherwise, I take offence to this. He's just a stupid cat who they say likes fishing, but he doesn't really because he's just made up. Unlike all the other Sonic characters who are real, no one likes you, Big. Go home and leave us in peace. Big the Cat's denialism? In my gaming magazine? Unacceptable. If this magazine was still being published, I'd send in a 22-year late complaint and demand a retraction. Any fans of the Chaotix watching would probably do the same after seeing the absolute slander written about the trio. Even we won't be bothering with Team Chaotix much in Sonic Heroes. Chaotix was rubbish, the characters in it were rubbish, Vector the Crocodile is rubbish too. Look at how stupid he looks. See how he's got attitude? He looks like a character created as a cheap Sonic copy. Bad, Vector, bad! Good god, what the fuck did Vector the Crocodile do to get this level of hatred from Gary? Espio's let off pretty easily, getting called mostly rubbish, and complimented for looking nicer on Xbox than on the 32X with his changing colours, which, according to the article, isn't much consolation. You'd think that Charmy would be given an equal amount of shit to these two, if not more. He's never been well received by gaming journalists, often cited as one of the Sonic franchise's worst characters. So imagine my surprise to read this part of the article singing his praises. Charmy B could have been a star Sonic character, were it not for the poor thing being hampered by making its only appearance in Chaotix. It flies, firing off a line each time you press the jump button. Could be extremely cool in Heroes. And it's also cool to see the little dude get appreciated for a change, especially during this point in the franchise's history. And last but certainly not least in this lineup, there's Team Dark, my personal favourite team in the game. Gary, however, couldn't agree less with me on that if his introduction to them is anything to go by. Frankly, we're suspicious of Sonic characters we've never seen in 2D. It just doesn't seem quite right. They're too new. Where's the proven track record? No sir, not convinced at all. So, what's his verdict on the fan-favourite trio of Rouge the Bat, Shadow Sonic, and E102 Gamma? Well, if I quote his write-up about Rouge verbatim, I think I'll get banned from YouTube for violating the community guidelines, so I'm not going to, I really don't want that to happen. But trust me, this one paragraph gives Guptil89's top 10 hottest female Sonic characters a run for its money. Thankfully, the bios for Shadow Sonic and E102 Gamma stay on topic and are completely accurate, delving into the backstory of Shadow Sonic as an omnipotent super hedgehog, created in a military laboratory to be the ultimate in rodent-based warfare, and Gamma's previous appearance in Sonic Adventure, where he turned against Eggman before dying, which Gary deems to be an emotional ending, something I wholeheartedly concur with. But then he gives away a massive spoiler for Heroes by informing us that Gamma survived and, quote, all those tears we shed were in vain. Ah well, it was cool that Gamma totally 100% actually made it into the game and definitely became a recurring character throughout the series. He and Shadow Sonic have a great dynamic too, they're both awesome. Well, that's the character profiles done and over with, aside from Knuckles and Cream, which I don't have much to say about, honestly. The fact that Knuckles used to be pink in Sonic 3 is brought up, and Cream is dubbed the best new Sonic character since Tails. So, is there anything else of note from this article? Gary mentions that he's playing a prototype build of the game, made for E3 2003, which, as far as I can tell, is the earliest known prototype of the game. This build was dated May 9th, 2003, and dumped online in 2016, thanks to a joint effort between Sonic Retro and Sonic Paradise. I won't cover everything about it here since it's not the focus of the video, but the most noticeable difference from the final game is the title screen, which I think looks way better. I really wish they'd kept it. If you want to learn more about this build or play it for yourself, then go and check out the pages for it on the Cutting Room Floor and Hidden Palace websites. I'll pop the links in the description. Going back to the article, Gary gets very excited by the car in Seaside Hill, calling it the cutest and coolest thing in the world, before having another go at Vector, calling him the worst Sonic Team character ever made, and questioning what rubbish he'll come out with when he talks. Seriously, I'll ask again, what the fuck did Vector do to Gary? He wraps up the article with a to-do list, and one of the things on it, aside from saying he'd be pissing on the floor with glee if Cream was playable in this prototype, is to remove Vector from the game entirely, the poor bloke. Speaking of wrapping things up, I'll do the same in a moment, but let me just quote Gary's first opinions really quickly. Sonic Team doesn't make games that suck. We trust Sonic Team. Hell, we love Sonic Team. If it was legally possible for a man to marry a corporate development unit, we'd be Mrs. Sonic Team by morning. There are two things our mind cannot comprehend: the infinite nature of the universe, and Sonic Team releasing a game that sucks. It's Sonic the Hedgehog on Xbox. It will be the best thing ever. Just watch it go. Yeah, about that, and especially that.